What about red flags? What are some red flags? Not only in the letter of intent, perhaps, but maybe just in the negotiation, the due diligence.
The skeletons in the closet.
Yeah. So a lot of the red flags could be basic corporate formalities, like does the seller, the target company, do they have a list of the owners, right? Do they have governing documents? That's one part. Then there's the documentation. Do they have payor contracts, copies of payor contracts? Do they have appropriate documentation showing that they are employing everybody properly? Have they filed their taxes correctly? Are there outstanding repayments or audits? So probably out of the full spectrum of red flags, I would say that having appropriate contracts in place and licensure in place is number one, right? Because you don't want to buy a pharmacy that doesn't have good contracts or licensure that's in good standing. And then the other would be probably taxes and employees. Are they're probably the three biggest items that we see as kind of red flags. On taxes, you have a lot of mom and pops who have gone to a CPA, not like Sykes and Company. It's the mom and pop down the street that just does tax returns. They got their EIN and they were told to do an S corp status, but they haven't run it like an S corp, right? Or they were told to do a C corp status, didn't run it. So some bad advice up front, and they've run with that over time, and now there may be some issues on the tax returns or tax filings. And then the employees is always a hot subject because you never quite know what you're assuming as a buyer. You can do your due diligence, but on employees, are they classified correctly? Are there appropriate employee policies and procedures? Have there been issues in the past with employees? The best I was told, it's always fun running a business until you have to deal with people. The people part's always the hardest, right?
Always.
And so you just never know what you're going to inherit. So it's always imperative to do some diligence on the employees. And that's always difficult for both the buyer and the seller because sellers like to keep the transactions close to the vest initially. They don't want anybody to know that they're selling, right?
Right.
And if you're on the buy side, you want to start having some interviews with these people and try to get a feel, like, are they going to be with us post closing? So that's probably one of the harder things to navigate.
Timing, yeah.
Is the timing of when can the seller introduce the buyer to the employees, and do we have a signed agreement yet? Are we closer to closing? That timing of that, again, there's no wrong answer. It's totally subjective to the parties that are negotiating the deal.